Ladies and gentlemen, ministers, ladies and gentlemen, senators, deputies, elected official, Mr. Chair, the director of the DGNR, presidents, vice presidents, directors of the regulatory authorities, the European authorities, Mediterranean, French, ladies and gentlemen from the independent administrative authorities, general directors from associations and public institutions, former presidents, former directors of the Commission, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. It is with great pleasure and much pride that I welcome you here today to celebrate the 25 years of the CRE. And I'd like to thank you for attending and being so numerous. On the 25th of March 2000, the CRE was created by one of the first colleges, and it was installed into law on the 10th of February of the same year. It was a real challenge to set sail and to challenge competitors much larger than us. It required a lot of vision and determination. It is not favorable for people who are unsure of where they're going, and I think of Maxime de Sénèque, the captains of the ship who managed to go forward. One through frugality and through determination, they managed to persevere. 25 years, they succeeded, and they have been successful on the electrical market, both for companies and individuals. The regulation of network is operational and mature. Renewable energies are succeeding. 25 years later, the CRE is a respected institution, respected expertise, of which they have just furthered in their experience since. Do we say CRE or CRE? It's up to you, and we will determine that when we're 30. This is promise held, and we owe it to the people who've helped us shape our course over the years. I would like to thank them for their commitment, for the quality of their work that they have done, for the members that have been past and present, our general directors, commissioners, and the three presidents before me, Jean Sirota, Philippe de la Doucet, and Jean-François Carincourt. Philippe and Jean-François are here with us today, and I think that we can take a moment to give them a round of applause to all three of them. Please stand. I would also like to thank the four commissioners who work together with me on a daily basis, Yvonne Faucheux, Valérie Pernin, Anthony Plaigneux, and Valérie Plenel. All four of them. I can't see you, but I know that you're here, so I'd like to thank you for your solidarity, for your commitment, for our exchanges, because yes, we're often in disagreement, and the pleasure that I get from working with you on a daily basis. Please, if you will stand. Thank you. 25 years, then in 2025, and then next, 25 years is a good age. It's the beginning of maturity, and it's the right time for us to think of our future. And an important time where we look at the increasing change of the climate and geopolitical changes. We've got ecological transition, purchasing power, competitiveness, and sovereignty. Dealing with all of these challenges at the same time means dealing with a number of contradictions, which I will give you some examples of. The first and most important could be, do we need low electric prices or resources for EDF? But also, I've got the development of decarbonized electricity. Should it meet demand or should it precede demand? Should it maintain and support people with in their energy transition, or should it just look at energy transition in a private sector with no budget constrictions? There is no clear answer. We need to find levers that will allow us to exceed these contradictions. And the role of the regulator is to prepare the future and to think in the long term. This is why, on this quarter of a century, I would like to project and look forward to 2030. We've brought our teams together, involved all of our stakeholders, many of you who are here today, out of respect of the tradition of exchange that we have. Given the 25 years that we've worked together, we showed the fruits of our labor, an example of which you have in the tote bag in front of you, which you find on your seats. As Michel Rocard said, the strategy is choosing the right battles. I must admit that, as Michel Rocard said, according to ChatGPT, when you check, people are not quite sure, but it was a nice quote, so I decided to keep it. So, as Michel Rocard maybe said, the strategy is the art of choosing the correct battles. We focused on 3 main challenges, which focus on the themes of today. These challenges are being successful in energy transition, meeting the expectations and challenges of the consumer, and building a competitive and sovereign Europe. Succeeding in energy transition, first of all, is the key to our success. It is not an option. The transformation of our energy model must go ahead. We owe this to our children, our grandchildren, to follow a path of decarbonization. We know that this path goes through electrification, so by supporting demand, developing our production capacities, renewable and nuclear, and developing non-electrical renewable energies, geothermal, for example, people forget that, and limiting our consumption of fossil fuels. Being successful in our energy transition from the point of view of the Commission is guaranteeing our economic efficiencies, continuing to build and create something that is supportable, that can support our public financing. It means financing the transitions of our electric and gas networks, which is a cost to the consumer. The challenges are not the same according to the energy. Higher for electricity, more even for gas, and lesser still for CO2 or gas. I'm thinking about carbon storage and other tariff restrictions that we talked about in terms of low periods. Meeting consumer demands and challenges means reinforcing trust across the market and allowing the consumer to make clear choices in terms of energy consumption. To do this, we will try to guarantee the functioning of the market, ensuring they are performant, and sanctioning abuse and frauds as soon as possible. Then, making prices competitive for companies and households, providing a good visibility of price evolution and ensuring that protection mechanisms are effective. And also ensuring that the market is understandable by all, so that the consumer can be able to choose the offering that best suits them. This is what we have tried to do for over a year in terms of protecting our consumers, in coherence of our offering and the rules. We're going to look at what's happening, so we will measure every year consumers who feel informed to choose the correct offerings and suppliers that are best suited to them, with the objective that they will progress. The results will be presented to you in a few minutes by my colleague Frédéric. Creating a sovereign and competitive Europe. The Commission is a fundamentally European organization. The Commission had played a pivotal role in deciding the electrical market between France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Europe, we firmly believe, is where the international competition is played, and this is where we need to position ourselves. Energy was a central part of the Draghi report for European competitiveness, and expectations are high. What role can the Commission play here? Well, as an influential member of the board and the CD2R, board, we have a role to play to deepen the understanding of the European system and to ensure that it is better connected and integrated. We should also promote subsidiarity, which remains essential to take into account the specificities of each member state. We will continue with our transition to make it sure it is an international and European opportunity by supporting suppliers in terms of their localization and locating essential technologies. Our aim is to succeed. And as Thomas Edison stated, as I'm sure you will be familiar with, success is 10% of inspiration and 30% sweat. So it is time to look at how we can implement this vision. These 3 points are then associated to specific targets, which you'll find outlined in the documents, which are a reality for tomorrow as of 2030. They won't depend only on our direct actions and the decisions that we make. Success will be collective, and you'll have to rely on our participation in terms of the French team of energy that works on this energy initiative with our ministers and administrations and the DGSE, who I would like to thank for being here, dear Laurent, dear Sophie, but our elected officials, our companies, and all other stakeholders. Finally, our success will also rely on our actions, on our ability of persuasion and our hybrid role, both being a policing it and an actor. We have to take a public stance and create partnerships. We have chosen to invest in public debate with the Parliament, yes, and the public as well, to explain our decisions and prepare the future for our prospective works, and we will continue to do this. We have also chosen to share our experience on energy regulations beyond the borders of Europe through a number of bilateral collaborations and participative collaborations like Régulation for French regulations or MEDREG for Mediterranean regulators, and we will continue to do this, and I would just like to thank all members of these networks for being here today. Accessibility, energy transition, consumer concern, competitivity, sovereignty, challenges that we will look at this afternoon are numerous and are all part of our perspective, as are all the future conversations that we're about to have. So now I would like to hand over to our conversations and roundtables. I'd like to thank all of the participants who answered our call and invitation and who have allowed us to offer you with a quality program. Thank you to everyone and have a lovely afternoon.